Jacq. Welcome back to your practice. Thank you so much for being here. This one is inspired by something from the Yoga Sutras called Pratipaksha Bhavana. And this is a practice of cultivating the opposite. It's Sanskrit, Pratipaksha Bhavana, and it is translated to cultivating the opposite. So the opposite of what? Well, the opposite of negative thoughts and feelings. So these are things, when it says negative thoughts and feelings, it's like, dude, I have those all the time. It's referring to the ones that are unnecessary, or maybe the ones that are not real. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm inspired to offer this today because I have a bad attitude. It's like when one thing goes wrong, then suddenly everything's wrong. That is the perfect opportunity to put this into practice. So it's not to bypass reality, which is crappy sometimes, right? So negative things do happen. It's not to say it's not to say good vibes only, because all vibes are welcome here. This is to say, notice when you're caught up in the hamster wheel, or perhaps creating your own suffering, and how can you kind of flip the script and get yourself back on track. So I use it a lot. I need to. I'm a human being who gets myself stuck walking the same path sometimes. The path that is not leading me toward joy and freedom, and it's my own choice. So the things that we do have control of are tuning into videos like this and doing something good for ourselves. So let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra and rub them. Close your eyes, take a couple big breaths. I'm rubbing so hard I could hear one of the pictures behind me rattling. Do that. Go so much that your biceps start to turn on. Let's go for 3, for 2, for 1, and then hold your hands just like half an inch away from each other. Close your eyes, feel energy. Let's start on hands and knees. So if you have a block or any props that you want to use, set them off to the side. They're not necessary, but they'll be there for you. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Give yourself a couple little sways side to side. Roll the head out, roll the hips. And we'll work with our in and out through the nose breath, or Ujjayi pranayama. Tuck your toes. Sit back toward your heels a couple times just to wake up into the feet. And then flip the tops of your feet back to the mat as you breathe in. Let your sit bones lift, your belly drop, look forward, squeeze behind the heart. And then exhale, round your spine, drawing the sit bones underneath you and the chin bones in. Cat and cow, breathe in. Cow pose, look forward with your heart. Breathe out, round your spine, cat pose. Let's go one more time. Breathe in. Draw your hands energetically back. Breathe out, round. Press into the ground. Send your right leg long behind you as you inhale. Flex your foot. As you exhale, draw your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, right leg back behind you. Right knee to your nose as you breathe out. Step your right foot between your thumbs. And if it doesn't quite make it, just use one of your hands to help yourself find a lunge position. We'll meet there. Front knee and front ankle just about stacked. And then as you inhale, listen closely, lift your chest, but clasp your hands. Don't clasp them, just bring them together. I almost said clap your hands. You can clap if you want to. Clap your hands together in front of you. So it's like this big arrow. And then let your eye gaze look at your thumbs. Plug the shoulder blades into the body. Start to draw your right hand closer to your heart, like you're stringing a bow. And then inhale, lift your left arm. And then as you exhale, listen closely, pick up your left foot off the ground. Activate your hamstring. Turn your left toes to the right and open your arms wide. It's almost like a low warrior 2. So lunge into your right leg. Let the shoulders relax as the arms extend. Take a reverse right here. Drop your left hand, lift your right. Keep lunging forward through your right knee. And then see if your left hand could come all the way toward the back of your mat. You might take a block here. As you lengthen your right leg, turn the toes toward the long side of your mat, supported side plank. Take a big breath in. And then as you breathe out, draw your right knee toward your chest. Hug your right shin with your right hand. Inhale, long right arm, long right leg. Exhale, right knee to chest. Inhale. And exhale. This time, pause. Hug your right knee close to your glute. And then take your hand to the top of your foot as you let your right knee point to the top of your mat now. Draw your right shoulder into the back body. Turn the chest up toward the sky. Take a big breath in. And then as you breathe out, re-lengthen your right leg and right arm. Head to the top of your mat, half split pose. So crawl the hands to the top of the mat. Re-lengthen your left shin bone behind you. Come onto your fingertips. Lengthen your chest forward. And then breathe out and take a bow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Let's go one more like that. Breathe in, get long. Exhale, bow. Step back into your right foot, so lunge. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, take a twist, right arm to the sky. Draw the left rib cage toward the right as you let your gaze shift skyward. Take your right arm over your right ear now. Can you lean back a little bit? Take your right hand down to the ground. Please step into a plank pose. Activate your hands, Hasta Bandha. So grip the mat with your finger pads. You might feel a little lift at the center of the palm. Take one more breath in, strong legs. As you breathe out, lower all the way down to the belly. Drop the knees first if that's working better. Strong legs again for cobra pose. As you inhale, lift the chest but lengthen the tailbone. And then exhale, child's pose. Take your knees wide. Hips toward your heels, drop your head, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Our breath is such a powerful, transformative tool. Get us out of those thoughts that are clouding reality. Rise up, hands and knees, and then adjust. So your shoulders and your wrists are pretty stacked. Your hips are over your knees. Take your left leg behind you. Inhale. Flex your foot. Take your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale, left leg long. Knee to nose, breathe out. Round your spine, press into the ground. Step your left foot between your thumbs. Come onto your fingertips. You can lift your chest a little bit. And then inhale here. Lengthen your chest, lift your chest as you bring your hands in front of you. Press the palms. Set your gaze to the thumb tip and then plug the shoulders onto the back. Take your left hand, bring it closer to your heart, slow like you're stringing your bow, and then start to lift your right arm up to the sky. Take a big inhale. And then as you breathe out, lift your back foot, right heel toward your glute. Turn your right toes to your left. Open your arms wide like a low warrior two. So this is definitely a listening practice today. We've got some funky transitions. Drop your back arm. Lift your left arm. Inhale. And then look at the back of your mat or your block and take your right hand to your block. Stretch your left arm overhead as you turn your left toes in, pointing toward the long side of your mat. And then spin your chest open a little bit, supported side plank. Breathe in. Breathe out, left knee toward your chest. Catch your shin with your left hand. Twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pause. Take your left hand to your left foot as you bring the heel closer to your butt. Start to let the gaze turn open toward the sky. Take a big breath in And then as you breathe out, lengthen your left leg, send your right arm back overhead. Scoop and sweep all the way to the front of your mat, half split pose. Your right toes will lengthen behind you. Your left leg lengthens in front of you. Notice I even keep a bend in my left knee, so it doesn't have to be straight. Take a halfway lift, inhale. And then exhale, draw the heart forward and down, relax your jaw. Halfway lift, breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out, take a bow. Rock forward, step into your left foot. Plant your right hand, lift your left arm, take a twist. Take your left arm over your left ear, lean back a little bit. Take your left hand down to the ground, step into a plank pose as you inhale. Remember, in your plank pose, don't let your head drop. So let the eyes shift forward ever so slightly. Think that your heart's looking forward. And then lower down to your belly. Cobra pose as you inhale. This time downward facing dog. Breathe out. Send your sit bones high. You can pedal out through your feet. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Let your sit bones be the top of the shape, like a triangle. The sit bones are the apex of the triangle. And then hug your front ribs together and let your shoulders move away from your ears. Take one more. Inhale, big one, a big, big one. Open the mouth as you exhale. Right leg high, breathe in. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Let the back knee drop, but keep the toes tucked. And then lift your chest, palms press ahead of you. So you set your sights on what you want. Start to draw your bow back, right elbow bends back behind you, and activate it. You get to choose whether to put effort into this or not. Let's lift the back knee. So we come into a high lunge, and now start to tip the left arm up, gaze follows. This time as you exhale, high prayer overhead, lengthen your front leg, inhale, turn all 10 toes to your left so you're in a wide straddle stance. Take a big breath in. Goddess pose as you breathe out, heels turn in, toes out, cactus arms. Inhale, lengthen the legs and the arms, high prayer. Exhale, sit back into that squat, twice more. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Side angle lunge to the front of the mat. So right forearm to thigh. Turn your left toes in and your right toes forward. And I always have to lengthen my stance here. So take up more space north to south on your mat if you need it. Take your left arm over your left ear. Take a big inhale. Breathe out, look down. We're setting up for half moon pose. So if you know you want to block, take your block in your right hand. Start to shift forward. Block on right hand to left hip to start. Flex your left foot. And then take your left arm to the sky if you feel stable. If you don't feel stable, look down, make sure your right toes are pointing forward. And your block or your hand is forward, but also to the right. So don't give yourself too narrow of a positioning. Take one more inhale here, and then exhale, draw your left knee into your chest. Can you hug the knee? You can soften your standing knee a little bit. Inhale, left arm and left leg long. Exhale, hug in. Work with your breath one more time to expand. One more time to contract. And then take your left hand to your left foot. Ardha Chandra Chapasana. Let your breath be clear. Take one more inhale. And then look down. Step into a curtsy. So tuck your left knee behind your right. Left toes touch the mat. Clasp your hands behind your back if they reach. Otherwise, keep them wide. Drop your head, take a bow. Inhale, stand. Left foot next to right. High prayer, upward salute. Breathe in. Hands to heart. Now, maybe you'd like to close your eyes. Let's pause here for a breath. Full breath in. And full breath out. Inhale, send your arms up, look up. Wide dive forward, fold, lead with your heart. Step your right foot to the back of your mat as you inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Plank pose, inhale. You can lower halfway or all the way, maybe Chaturanga Dandasana this time. Upward facing dog or cobra. Strong legs to protect your back. Downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky, breathe in. Step it forward as you breathe out. Lower your back knee, but keep your toes tucked. Lift your chest. Bring your palms to press. Set your sights. So even as you look at your thumbs here, it's like a refocusing. Drop in again. Draw your bow back with your left hand, left elbow pulling behind you. Tuck the back toes, lifting the knee, high lunge. Start to tip up and back, right arm reaches. Lengthen your front leg, find a high prayer, and turn all of your toes to your right. Full breath in. Goddess pose as you breathe out, toes out, heels, and find the squat. Let's move it with breath. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sit. Twice more. Clearing energy. I needed it. Side angle lunge, front of your mat. So left forearm to thigh, adjust your feet so it's a big swing of your right heel kind of behind you. Your front heel would bisect your back arch if you had a line drawn between them. And then left forearm on thigh helps you turn. So feel that. You're not just dumping here. You're not just dropping the weight in, but turn the chest open. Good. Now take a look-see for your block. We're headed to Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Right hand to right hip, left hand to block, or left fingertips to ground. Step the weight onto the left foot as you extend your right leg. And then maybe you also extend your right arm. How's your breathing? Let your breath move from the center outward so you really feel expansive in all directions. Take one more big breath in. And then breathe out, draw your right knee to your chest. Hug your right shin and bend, soften through your standing knee too. Twice more, breathe in. And breathe out. Moving in new ways is good not just for our muscles, but for our brain. We've got to pay attention. Practicing presence. Pause next time you're hugged in. Slip your right hand to your right foot and start to spin your right knee to point behind you. Ardha Chandra Chapasana. You can look up toward the sky, and then don't forget to plug your right shoulder blade in behind the heart. Pratipaksha Bhavana, cultivating the opposite. Take one more breath in, and then look down. Step into that curtsy, right knee tucks behind the left. Right toes find the mat. If the hands clasp, cool. If they don't, cool. Take a bow. Lift the hands, drop the head. Step right foot next to left, high prayer, big breath in. Breathe out, hands to heart. Pause here, full breath in. Full breath out, strong. Here we go, arms up, inhale, high prayer. Lead with your heart, take a bow as you exhale. Step your left foot to the back of your mat, breathe in. Downward facing dog as you breathe it out. Let's rinse it with a vinyasa. Inhale, come forward, shoulders over wrists for plank pose, long spine. Lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Full inhale. And full exhale. Lower your knees. Come to sit. Take your hands behind you for altar pose, feet in front of you. Inhale, lift your seat up. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, breathe out. Let's do this twice more. In through the nose, and then stick out your tongue when you exhale. It's called lion's breath. Breathe in. Oh yeah, and you gotta make that noise. One more, breathe in. Sink your seat down to the ground. Bring your hands to the back of your thighs. Underneath the thighs, grab the hamstrings. Tip into a boat. Imagine you had a string from your sternum to the sky. Wake up your toes a little bit. So collarbones are broad. Collarbones are like the windows to the lungs so you can breathe. Maybe you extend your arms. Maybe you even extend your legs or one leg and then the other. Let's hold for 5. Hold your body, not your breath. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your feet down. Wrap your forearms around your shins and draw the chin into the throat. Maybe your forehead rests on your knees. Round your spine. Let your breath settle. And then lift your chin, lift your eyes, find your block if you have one. It's not necessary though, but I want you to be able to reach it once we lie down if you need it. Take a big full body stretch to start. Full body breath. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the ground. We're setting up for bridge pose. So if you have a bad attitude today, like me, and you actually feel like you've not been so nice to yourself, then don't power through this. Give yourself the block or a bolster or a rolled up towel as a reminder that it's okay to slow down and to be compassionate with yourself. And if maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum where you've been a little bit sloth-like today, you might want to invite some energy. So if you're using the block, lift your butt up, slip your block right under the base of your spine. So it's not in your lower back, it's lower than that. It's right at the top of your butt. You can stay here and let your arms lengthen by your sides. If you're working without your block, press your feet down, lift your hips on an exhale. And magnetize your heels toward your shoulder blades. So you feel the back chain of muscles on the legs start to turn on. And then everyone stretch your arms to the sky. Take an inhale, stretch them straight up to the sky. And then breathe out, lengthen your arms overhead. See if we can stay for 3 more breaths. So if you need to adjust at all, whether you have your block or not, go ahead. See if you can stay with yourself, stay with your breath. Good. Draw your arms back down by your sides. If you're still lifted without your block, slowly lower your spine from the top to the bottom. If you have your block, press your feet down enough to lift your butt. Set your block off to the side. And then open your arms into a T and wash your knees right and left. And if it feels right to stay and hang out on one side, that's cool. Thanks for showing up today. Thanks for choosing habits that lift you up, I hope. And it's such a ripple effect. Draw your knees in toward you. And the opposite is a ripple effect too. Because if I'm crabby, man, sometimes it makes other people in my house crabby. It's kind of like, have you ever been cleaning? Or like, have you ever had a roommate that's cleaning? And then you're like inspired to clean too? So we're in it together, folks. Hands to knees, draw circles with your knees opening wide and then drawing them in. Like you're rowing a boat. And then row your boat in the other direction. We're setting up for rest next. So if there's any props that you'd like to gather to support your Shavasana, go ahead, put your feet back down on the ground. You might pause for a moment and ask what it is that you need. And then lengthen your legs long. Let the toes flop out so your legs can truly release. If you need some grounding energy, bring the palms to the low belly. You can snuggle the shoulder blades together behind the heart. Take a full inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Do that one more time. So big breath in, exaggerated breath out. If you have longer, please do stay and rest. You can rest for 10 minutes or so. And when you're ready, draw your feet to the ground, one at a time, step, and then roll over to your side. Let yourself pause again here, letting the weight of your body just sink into the ground. And then slowly press yourself upright. Find a seat that feels intentional, so don't rush. This is the end of the practice. This is a closing that's intentional and mindful. So sit up tall, bring a prayer to your heart. Cultivate the opposite when you need to. Give yourself a little shake. Say, hey, what's really happening? And sometimes when I can't figure that out, I ask myself, what is the next right action? Just the little next step. What is the next right action? I hope this is useful to you. I'm wishing you peace. I would love to see you on retreat or in training. If you want to deepen your yoga practice, be sure to check out all of those offerings at mindfulish.org, and I'll see you next time.